Okay, here we go then. The last race of the day, it's all to play for. Race 2, it all comes down to the next 14 laps. And away they go. Now, and there's Darren spinning out as well. Darren, there's contact there, push Kieran wide. Oh, but he's gone off. What's going on? Shane's also there in the BMW. Oh, nearly loses it. Kieran's going to have to slow down. No, he's gone too much. It's Josh here, and he is leading. This is fantastic for Josh. Oh, a bit of a luck tap. And Josh, oh my God, who's going to take it? I think it's Darren. I think it's going to be Rob. Rob gets it. He's actually on the grass. This isn't good for Tom. And he's made the move. Look at that. Through Rouge. Oh, that's Mike. Mike's gone off. Oh, Craig sideways. Big time. Is it going to be enough? No, Sam takes it and takes the title ahead of Tom. Hello and welcome to the FeckWrest Online Touring Car Championship. My name is Tom and you are currently looking at Craig Killett, our current championship leader, as we come to round 8 of season 2 in Australia on the other side of the world for Mount Panorama at Bathurst for the circuit. Let's have a little look at the circuit itself and find out who's entered into this race and where the guys are sitting with their points. The 3.8 mile circuit here in Australia, Mount Panorama, is known for its V8 supercars with its long, fast straights and tight, twisty mountain sections up the top with a haul of concrete walls. In the entry list then, we have pretty much the same as Goodwood, apart from Chris Hensby unfortunately can't make it, but is replaced with Kieran Thomas, who returns to make up for the team at K-Tech in their Subarus. In the points then, Craig is still leading by quite a few points, 352 points in the lead, 271 with Darren. Mike is third now after a struggle with Mark at Goodwood on 243. Mark is on 223. Tom goes up to fifth with 221. Josh is 6th with 217. 7th is Sam, 190. 8th is Rob, he's moved up to 153, two places. Kieran in 9th now, 152. Stephen is in 10th, 139. Harry is 11th with 133. Joe in 12th with 111. Gary, James and Chris 13th, 14th and 15th. But Gary got a few points off to returning at Goodwood last time round. In the teams, Elliot is still leading by quite a way, 602 points, Parker on 534, K-Tech on 467 third. All three teams represented by both cars here at Bathurst, so it'll be interesting to see how the points move around here. In the independents, Mark is 2 points behind Mike. Mike is on 317, Mark on 315, Josh on 276 in third, Harry's on 216 in fourth, Stephen 5th with 201, Joe is 6th with 155, Gary 111 in 7th, and Chris is 8th with 57, James 9th with 34. Here is your grid for the first race here at Mount Panorama. On pole position, of course, is Darren Parker in the first of the Team Parker Racing Renault Meganes. Next to him is Craig Killett in the first of the Elliott Racing Nissan GTRs. Row 2, we've got Tom Foster in the K-Tech Racing Subaru WRX next to Sam Parker in the second of the Team Parker Renault Meganes. Row 3, we've got Harry Cook in the Nissan GTR and Mike Kuipers also in the Nissan GTR. Row 4, we've got Stephen Heath in the Subaru WX and Rob Pellet in the second of the Elliott Racing Nissan GTRs. Row 5, we've got the Lexus RCF Gary Black and Joe Burrows in the Mazda Atenza. Row 6 is Josh Hardy in the Renault Megane next to Mark Nicol also in the Renault Megane, and at the back on his own is Kieran Thomas in the K-Tech Subaru WRX. Here we go then. It's the first time the FeckWrest Tourers have come to Bathurst in Australia. A little bit apprehensive because it is a very technical, demanding circuit, and away they go. It's a good start for the Nissan of Craig as he goes into the first corner. He's actually run a little bit wide there. He's in the gravel, and he's actually spun, and so Craig Kellett is facing the wrong way and he's at the back of the grid now. So Craig, he's out of the lead. Darren's a little bit further behind, maybe a little bit of contact there as well. So Harry's taking the lead, Tom is in second, Mike is in third. As they all go into the first corner, there's contact between Tom and Harry. Oh, but there's quite a few other cars all going into the first corner. A little bit gung-ho. So on board with Darren, as you can see, this is the tight, twisty, mountainous section. Up, down, left to right, but it's very, very fast. If you get it wrong, you hit the walls very, very hard. So, and it can really affect your race position. Let's have a little look at the replay and find out what happened with Craig on the first corner there. Let's watch on board from Craig as he gets the start here and find out exactly where and if he was helped with his spin or whether it was just his own mistake. As he initially goes off. Well, to be honest, there was a bit of contact, but Craig had already half spun, so I don't think Darren could have done much there if it was Darren that hit him. Let's watch from Darren then, from his perspective, and find out how he saw it and whether it was Darren who made the slight contact mid-spin. That's where Craig hits the gravel. Yeah, he just spins right in front of him, so there's really nothing Darren could do. Look how much it slowed him down though. So Darren is in fourth with Sam acting as rear gunner in fifth, and the two needing a good points haul for the teams to see if they can catch up with Elliott Racing, who have just dominated the last few rounds, unfortunately, due to Sam not being able to commit to all the rounds. So down in sixth now is Rob. So this is good for Rob. This is a good start. Gary is in seventh with the Subaru of Heafy behind him. Heafy goes on the inside. Oh, Gary's run wide. That's a bit of a shame for Gary. There he goes. Gets back on the track. So Heafy's now got... oh, I think that's someone spun there. Who was that? Oh, that's Josh. So Josh has spun it. I did see Gary go off, but I don't think Josh was... I did see him maybe go off in the background, but I didn't realise how bad it was for him. So let's have a look and see what happened with Josh and find out whether he spun on his own or whether it was someone else that hit him. On board with Josh. Now you'll see there's a few up ahead who go off onto the gravel and on the grass, and I think almost everyone does, and most of them do. Look, so what happens with Josh? Oh, actual contact with Craig there. I think that was Craig, so that's what happened with Josh. Back to the lead then. Tom is behind Harry and he's got a good run on him. Harry is doing a great job and holding his own at the front here. Could he be on his way to his first ever victory? That's a little bit wide there, but it's very difficult to overtake in this particular section. Not very much space, and you'd be a little bit optimistic and probably end up causing havoc if you do try to overtake. Darren up to third now, Sam up to fourth, Mike has dropped down a little bit, so it's a bit of a shame, but still good for Mike, who is leading the independents and now just needs to keep an eye on where he is in comparison to Mark and Josh. Rob up to sixth still, Heathy seventh, Joe is seventh, Cold Racer Craig Kellett is now running up in ninth, and still lots of work to do. Gary down to 10th, Mark is in 11th, but he's on the hard, so it's hard to kind of say how Mark is going to do for the rest of the races on these soft tyres. There's Josh and Kieran now, so Kieran looks like he might have a problem. Harry still leading. And now it's Tom and Sam. Oh, that's a great overtake by Sam. And he's got it done. Fantastic job by Sam. So Parker Racing in the Renaults are looking very, very quick here and already beginning to get to the front. And they've just got to get past Harry now. Here is Harry. And he's actually gapped a little bit. Obviously Tom's had the two Parker Renaults to deal with, so that slowed him down a bit, but all Harry's got to do is keep focused, look ahead rather than behind. But those two Renaults are without a doubt quite threatening and looking very strong. Further down, Mike still in 5th. Rob and Heafy. Heafy's a little bit closer to Rob here, so could he overtake and take 6th? Rob is now the leading Elite Racing Nissan GTR after Craig had an off in the first corner, so it's unusual for Craig to make a mistake, but he's not invincible, and just like anyone else he can make mistakes, so it's his real first one, but it's going to hurt him in the points. There is Craig, so Craig is very quickly moving up. He's got past Joe and up into 8th now, so once he's got past Heafy, no doubt Rob will want to help in some way. There's Joe having a bit of a race on his own at the moment. Gary seems to have got settled in 10th. And that's Mark Nichol. Mark Nichol spun, and that's a big off for Mark, sorry. So we caught the end of that spin, but we can have a little look and find out what really happened there with Mark, but it didn't look like he was around anybody else, so he's actually gone off on his own and having a tough time with those hard tyres. So let's have a look and find out what happened with Mark. Let's watch Mark again as he goes into this spin. So he's got the speed there and he just catches the grass and spins round. On board with Mark here then. Yeah, look, just catches the grass. Lucky not to go into the wall, really. Yeah, Kieran seems to be having issues with that Subaru. So, still leading is Harry Cook in the Nissan, and Darren and Sam both on a podium. This will be a good double podium at least for Parker, but can they get the 1-2? It's not been done yet this season, so it'll be a good trait to have, something to take away with them, as well as maximum points to take towards Elite Racing and of course Craig in the overall title. So Craig is now just behind Rob, and it looks like Heathy's had an off because Heathy was much closer to Rob and Craig, so Heathy's, they definitely had an off. Here's Josh and Mark, so they're having a great battle here on the back and the hard tyres, and Mark is really pushing, looking for that gap. Yeah, as you can see, that Renault is just twitchy, very, very twitchy. So Harry's still leading. And Mike is I think catching up a little bit. Potentially could be on his way to back end of this group. Has Sam, oh, Sam's got passed down, so has Sam got an opportunity here? Maybe the quicker of the two, looking to get past Harry here. This is a great race for the lead. And look at that, the exit speed is fantastic for Sam here. Can he get the overtake done? Yes, he can. And that's good news for Sam, and Darren can now try and capitalise, but saying that, Harry is not having any of it, and he's actually got a good run up on the inside. Is it going to be enough? We know those Renaults have just got more power, but this is great stuff from the 3 here. That's not meant to not to be. So Tom has managed to stay on the back of these though, and he's not let them go away. Now that's Harry. He's hit the wall, so he's hit the wall slightly. It's going to slow him down, but luckily it's not too bad. Now, Tom is going to have to hold back here, because overtaking at the front with all those concrete walls down the side is not a good idea, and it will ruin everyone's race, potentially even Mike's, if things were to kick off. Now Mike has actually managed to catch up and seems to have towed onto the back of this train of cars, so this will be an opportunity for Mike to just hold back and see what happens with Tom, Darren and Harry here. Maybe take advantage of any mistakes. Oh look, there's Mike drifting. There's Harry, Darren and Tom. It's a great camera angle there as the cars rush past. And there's Darren. Darren's got the position. He's got it done. He's up into second. Harry is down to third. So this is an opportunity for Tom now. And Tom is going up on the inside. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. So Harry down to fourth now. He really put on a strong fight to defend his lead and for second, but so all it takes is a move like that, and unfortunately it's pushed him down to fourth position, but it was clean and it was great racing. So Harry down to fourth now. It could be under threat from Mike if he was get onto the back of that Nissan. The two Nissans are very similar, so not much in it. There's Tom getting sideways. Further down then, let's have a see what's going on. And Craig now is catching up with this pack. Can you believe it? Well, this is a comeback and a half. So Craig, I don't think he's going to be able to get a podium, but at least he's got some points. Can he catch up with Mike in time? Putting in the fast laps. This is Rob up in 7th on his own, but definitely a good points haul. Stephen and Joe now tussling out. Wow, that's Stephen hitting the wall there. Whoa, that's Joe going into the wall as well. So these two really struggling to get to grips with the circuit a little bit. And there's Gary. Gary looks pretty quick around here in the Lexus, and maybe he's just where he hit that off early on. It's hurt him a little bit, but yeah, he doesn't look too bad. Mark and Josh still fighting out here. So Mark is on the grass, having some fun. And Josh going sideways there. Oh, Josh has spun it. So Josh really struggling to get to grips those hard tyres. So blue flags are out for Kieran. Kieran's having to be overtaken, overlapped. Look at this Renault 1-2, and the cars look great together. You don't often see them running literally close together in the lead like this, so it's great to see. Down in third is still Tom. He's dropped off a little bit from Darren, but I don't necessarily think he wants to push too hard, as this will be a great podium for Tom. So Harry now has been passed by Mike, so Mike has got up to 4th, Harry down to 5th, but the two are very close together still. So, Mike ahead there. This is where Craig is. Can he catch up with Harry now? So, they're not too far ahead. Rob's still there on his own. Stephen's got a little bit ahead of Jonah. Joe is ahead of Gary, and yeah, pretty much everyone else is on their own. And that's, whoa, Josh. Big contact for Josh. Josh has gone into the wall. Well, so someone's having a great time here. We can have another little look at that replay from Josh and find out really what happened there. Let's see what happens with Josh here. Wow, just way too fast into the corner. On board with Josh. Big impact. So, on board with Darren. Now, it's a matter of whether the teams have team orders, whether it's been discussed whether Darren is going to take the points for the championship title, or whether it's still game on and the two will fight. At the moment, Sam is leading, but maybe they could be waiting for the perfect opportunity towards the end for Darren to get past, rather than it be somewhere too dangerous. Tom's ended up in his own now, so Harry fallen a little bit behind Mike now. Oh, a little bit of contact with the wall there. This is positive for Harry. He's been fighting up with the big boys up the front for a few races this season, and he's had a few top fives. He's not quite had his podium yet, but patience is a virtue, and I'm sure Harry will no doubt do much better at some point. There we go. Oh, he's waited, and Mike, unfortunately, drifting around the corners again, so that's allowed Harry back past. And if the two get caught up, guess who is behind them? It's Craig Kellett. So Craig is now definitely on one to make all the points up he can. Let's go on board with Craig. On to the final lap of the race. So it's just literally the last 2-minute lap round the circuit. Can Craig get past the two Nissans here? Look at the times that Craig's doing. He's doing 2:01s, and he's even done nearly a 2-minute straight. Very quick from getting under that 2-minute mark and getting into the 1:59s. In testing, he managed to get a 1:59 at some point, but it's a different story when it comes to race day. And there goes Craig. And it looks like this is his best opportunity now as we go on board with Harry. So the three of them are at the top end of the mountain, and Craig is looking very, very aggressive here, like he wants to take an opportunity to overtake within those walls. Bob's still doing well there. So there's Craig. Oh, he's at the wall. So, up the front here, Darren is still in second, Sam still in first. Is Sam going to let Darren ahead in the last few corners? Potentially, but Darren's going for it. This looks like it's a genuine normal race. Here they go then. Darren's got him. No, he's gone wide. So Sam's got it. And Sam's going to take the win. Yep, Sam's taking it. Sam wins the first race at Bathurst. Second is Darren. Tom's going to take third. Craig is going to take fourth. Mike will take fifth. Harry will take sixth. Rob is going to come away with a strong seventh on his own. Probably a little bit bored, but it's a great points haul for Elliott Racing. After the two, get the 1-2 for... Oh, that's Heathy, and that's Joe, and that's Gary off as well. So the three of these all having a great time here. On board with Gary. Don't think there's anything that's going to change here. Oh, a bit of contact there. But in the end, Stephen Heath takes 8th, 9th for Joe, 10th for Gary. Here is Mark, who's really struggled on the hard tyres, but still, at least it's a points finish for Mark. He's got the hards out of the way. See if he can take advantage of having the softs in race 2 or 3. Mark Nicol takes 11th, Josh will take 12th, and Kieran will take 13th, a lap behind. It's the Team Parker 1-2 then for Sam and Darren in first and second. Tom takes third, Craig was fourth, Mike was fifth, Harry in sixth, Rob in seventh, Stephen in eighth, Joe in ninth, Gary 10th, Mark 11th, Josh is 12th, and Kieran is at the back in 13th. So for the title standings then, Craig still leading with 366, Darren's 289, so Darren's pulled back a little bit after Craig had his off in the first corner. Third is Mike, and Tom goes up to fourth now with 236. Mark goes down to fifth, 228. Josh is still in sixth, 221. Sam, Rob, Kieran, Stephen, Harry, Joe, Gary, Chris and James don't move at all as they just gain points. In the teams, Elliott is 626, Parker 571, K-Tech 492, so Parker gaining a few points after that 1-2 compared to Elliott. In the independents, Mike is still leading now by 12 points, 337 to 325 for Mark. Josh still in third, 285. Harry in fourth, 233. Stephen, Joe, Gary, Chris and James still continuing to gain points. Obviously Chris and James haven't because they haven't raced today.